Around the world, sharks reign supreme as the apex predators of the sea. Maintaining a healthy ocean ecosystem, large sharks patrol the coasts in search of their next meal.
The reason you find them close inshore, that's where their food is.
Crossing paths with vacationers looking to escape the summer heat.
It was huge. The speed, the power, it's like getting run over.
Captured on video, first-hand encounters in global hotspots reveal what can happen when our human and shark worlds collide. Shark attack hotspots are locations around the world where humans and sharks cross paths most often. Since records began over 400 years ago, there have been over 3,000 globally recorded shark attacks.
I'm surprised we don't have more attacks between white sharks and humans than we do.
As more and more tourists pack the beaches of popular coastal resorts, the number of attacks could rise.
You've got just a continual increase in tourists. We can expect to have more shark attacks. It's going to happen.
There are 3 key areas around the world where sharks and humans are most likely to meet. South Africa, home to the powerful great white. Florida, the shark bite capital of the world. And Australia, one of the deadliest locations, and responsible for nearly half the fatal attacks anywhere in the world. Gold Coast is an Australian city that features over 40 miles of coastline. Visited by over 12 million people a year, it has the country's 2nd largest beach life-saving service to protect swimmers and surfers from the elements and the sharks. There are over 180 species of sharks in these waters, including the big 3, the great white, the tiger, and the bull. These 3 large predators are responsible for over 60% of unprovoked attacks. One of the most impressive hunters is the bull shark. These compact powerhouses reach up to 13 feet, and they can weigh up to a hefty 500 pounds. True to their name, bull sharks are large and stocky, often hunting in murky water. As coastal hunters, they often swim in shallow waters close to the beaches, where tourists and locals flock during warm weather. Their name is attributed to their shorter bull-shaped snout, and they are known to headbutt their prey before biting them in half. A human leg with its soft, unprotected muscle stands no chance against the full bone-crushing bite of a bull shark. Packing 1,300 pounds per square inch, it is one of the most powerful bites of any shark.
A shark this big could take a 1.5 meter blacktip shark and just bite it right in half, easily.
Sharks don't have skeletons or jaws made of bone. They're made of hardened cartilage. And the cartilage jaws of a bull shark is particularly thick and particularly rigid. And large muscles attached to them give it a formidable bite force, give them the power to bite through really pretty much any prey they come across.
Bull sharks have been tracked traveling up and down the Australian east coast, from the Great Barrier Reef in the winter and spring, all the way down to Sydney Harbour by summer, over 1,000 miles each way. Australia's beautiful Gold Coast beaches are a major draw for tourists like Tommaso and dive partner Matteo on holiday from Italy.
I really love to go to the beach. I really love the sea. I love to scuba dive, especially here in Australia. Our plan was just to go to another beach along the coast, because it's a little bit more hidden. So in that beach, we're just like, I think, 5 people there. About that area, I didn't know there was full of sharks, really close to the beach. I didn't know that.
Sharks aren't any different than any other predator. If you want to find the predator, look for the prey. The reason you find them close inshore, that's where their food is.
Matteo was just telling me he wanted to go inside the water, and I was like, I'm not so sure because I'm a little bit afraid, and you couldn't see underwater.
Many sharks use a system of camouflage called countershading, where the top side is darker than the bottom. When viewed from below, the light underside blends in with the bright sky.
Bull sharks are quite effective when it comes to their camouflage. Because they end up hunting in murky waters, it's always harder to see a darker organism from the top. So it is a mix of their speed, their power, their coloration, their countershading that allow sharks to be such great ambush predators.
He got into the water with the GoPro, and in a few seconds, really, maybe after 2 minutes, everything happened.
Ignoring Tommaso's concerns, Matteo heads out into the warm waters when disaster strikes.
He was moving quickly to the shore. So moving so quickly, like splashing. I didn't realize, but when he started yelling me, I need help. Help me, Tom, help me. In that moment, I realized that it was a shark attack. And it's like, oh my God. And you see a lot of blood around him, and it was really close to that. And I saw his foot completely like split, and his calf and his leg was completely removed. I wasn't ready for a moment like this.
The bull shark's bite has sliced through Matteo's leg, now held together by his wetsuit, as Tommaso tries desperately to save him.
I'm a nurse, I'm a scuba diving instructor, but I think you are never ready to do something like this. In the first minute, I was completely under shock. Call someone, I don't know, please. I was just trying to yell to the people on the beach, but I didn't know what I had to say. So I just picked up his leg, started to, okay, I know what I have to do. Have you a belt or something? I just asked for something like a belt, but you know, on a beach, who has a belt? No one. So I just had a bandana from a girl. I just picked the bandana and I just tried to put like an hemostatic, but I didn't have nothing, so it was so hard. Cazzo, stai giù!
Tommaso uses this makeshift tourniquet to try and stem the life-threatening amounts of blood now pouring back into the ocean.
I just tried to keep him alive. I just started yelling him, please stay with me, please stay with me.
Emergency services are alerted and an air ambulance dispatched.
After he went out with the ambulance, I didn't know too much. I didn't know nothing. Maybe he's dead. I didn't know that.
Airlifted to a Brisbane emergency hospital. Surgeons act fast to save Matteo's life. Matteo survived, but the injuries were too severe, and his leg had to be amputated.
I just know that my friend is alive, and I think it's the most important thing. If you see something like this, you are, I think, completely afraid for maybe the rest of your life. We have just to understand that we are in their territory, and they are the best predator in the world, especially in the ocean. I saw a shark attack. It's so rare. My friend was in the wrong place in the wrong moment. It's hard to think about. My friend was really close to that.
In hotspots like Australia, it's crucial to be aware of when sharks could be nearby, especially when they are feeding. Low light hours and murky waters are also times to be cautious about choosing to enter the water. With over 260 reported shark attacks, South Africa is a hotspot with an incredibly rich marine life. The country boasts over 1,500 miles of coastline and is home to over 100 species of sharks. At the crossroads between the Indian and Atlantic Oceans, two huge weather systems collide, one warm and one cold, creating treacherous sailing conditions that cause the hundreds of shipwrecks that litter the seabed. The merging of oceans and shipwrecks creates a huge marine ecosystem with bountiful sea life for the local communities and tourists to fish. It also makes the perfect hunting ground for big sharks, like the great white. With wide-ranging migration patterns, great whites can be found around the world. An adept hunter with sharp triangular teeth, their preferred prey are pinnipeds, like seals and sea lions. The great white's need for energy-rich mammals usually suggests they'll go where the seals go.
They're smart. They're not dumb. They plan ahead. They choose and pick locations.
For the great white populations near South Africa, that means the waters around the Cape Coast, a popular spearfishing spot for locals like Johan Potgieter.
I started diving at age 11, and after that I never stopped diving. I started spearfishing only at 18 years old, and I spearfish for a living. Most of the time we're looking for quality eating fish. It's a hardcore sport, it's pushing the limits, and I love it. We live in George in South Africa, in the Southern Cape. We have a lot of bronze whalers here. We do get lots of hammerhead sharks. Quite a lot of great whites in the area. So there's a lot of seals. I mean, that's why they come to predate on the seals. But, you know, with great whites, if they're in the area, they'll make themselves known. It's hardly ever that the great white will be in the area and you don't see it. At some point, he'll show himself. That day when the incident happened, I've been with 3 of my friends. It was a little bit overcast, and being overcast, you couldn't really see the color of the water, so we had to get in to check. It was basically just a dive down to see if the water is diveable. So me and Francois and Erik jumped off the boat. I breathed up, made my duck dive, and on the way down, it was just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. Up to a point where I figured, yeah, I'm going to turn around. And I thought, you know, you're so close to the bottom, might as well go sit there.
As Johan dives down into the cold, low-visibility waters, searching for fish to catch, he's unaware that he's in the presence of a huge predatory shark who can rely on features beyond sight to find prey.
You're talking a couple seconds. I mean, looked to my right, looked in front of me. The moment I turned my head, the shark's nose were like literally on top of the back of my head. I had to pull my head out underneath the shark's nose. The main concern is I can't see the shark. You can't see where it's going. You know it's there, and when it disappears, you know it's going to be coming in on you, but you don't know where. And then the shark made a turn, and then when it made that turn, it came straight for me. The shark just made a big turn and disappeared out of sight.
The great white has eyesight 10 times better than a human, so Johan is at a disadvantage. He struggles to see where the great white is and when it's coming back. Especially dangerous, as sharks often prefer to ambush attack when their prey is unaware.
And then I thought, okay, I have my chance to get to the surface, not for myself, but to warn the other guys. I knew about the shark, so I'm okay. I know there's danger, but they don't know there's danger. White, white! When my head broke surface, my immediate thing was yelling at the boat, white, white, that they know there's a great white. And when I looked down, the shark was literally swimming over my right foot, over my fin, and I kicked my foot out underneath the shark. And that shark was after me, make no mistake. And then the shark went to my friend Erik. That's so fully white! Eric was on the surface, so he knew about the shark. We got onto the boat at the same time.
As Johan scrambles to safety, dive partner Francois is still in danger. Somewhere in these murky waters, there is still a 2,000 to 3,000 pound shark.
Francois was still down at the bottom, so he didn't know about the sharks. But I've been sitting with my fins over the side of the boat with my gun in my hand, with the thinking, if the shark comes up to Francois and he can't get the shark away from him, I'll jump in and help him fight the shark off.
Wait!
With Francois gratefully rescued, they make their escape back to shore.
If you've seen a great white or anybody's seen a great white or picked up on a great white, you don't dive at the area. Even if the shark didn't show any interest, you still move.
White sharks are opportunistic predators. They will eat any prey that's available. What you had was an adult white shark come in to investigate, which is very common with those animals. It circled around him, did its thing, checked him over, and said goodbye.
I went diving like 2-3 days after that incident, just got back onto the horse and just keep on riding it. That's what it is. If you fall off the horse, you have to get back on it. Sharks is just a part of the ecosystem. You have to live with it. Rather embrace it and try to learn and see what you can do to better your chances not getting hurt.
South Africa's plentiful marine life provides an ideal hunting ground for hungry predators, including the bull shark. They have evolved to be able to hunt where few other sharks can.
Bull sharks are different in that they can go into fresh water. That has to do with their ability to regulate the salt in their body.
This is made possible by a system called osmoregulation that uses specially evolved glands and kidneys to regulate their salt content. Without it, they would absorb too much fresh water, swell up, and die.
Bull sharks are unusual in that they can move between the sea and into rivers. And because they do this in tropical rivers worldwide, they often end up interacting with other animals that are living in these tropical river systems.
Like the beautiful St. Lucia estuary near the east coast of South Africa. Over 50 miles long and 10 miles wide, it's home to an animal that kills around 500 people every year. The hippo. A semi-aquatic animal, the hippo spends much of its time in the water, often living in groups of around 30 females and calves, with one territorial male. They have been known to fight to the death to keep their place in the group. A confrontation with a herd of these 3.5-ton hippos is something you'd likely avoid, but not the single aggressive bull shark that lurks below the surface of these muddy waters.
Survival instinct in animals is very strong. They generally are not comfortable around something that's bigger than them. You do have some species, though, like bull sharks, that don't care and race right in.
Even the dark, muddy water doesn't stop this bull shark from attacking.
What you're seeing there is an animal that is very aggressive with an animal much bigger than itself that didn't stop it. It went in and it took a nip out of one of the hippos. They then started chasing it, and it continued to come back.
The shark relies on its other senses to see in these conditions.
One of the main areas where we catch a lot of bull sharks, the water looks like chocolate milk. And so sight is all but useless in that case.
It has amazing senses that allow it to detect prey in murky water where there's a visibility of essentially zero.
They're really relying on that olfaction to get them close, and then electroreception as their final sense.
Bull sharks can weigh up to 500 pounds, whereas hippos weigh over 10 times that. The large male uses its weight advantage to try to scare the bull shark off.
It didn't kill the hippo, of course, and wouldn't because the shark was too small. but it didn't stop it from trying to kill bigger prey.
As a solitary hunter, bull sharks have a very different approach to the pack mentality of the hippo.
The hippos reacted as a group, not individually. So they were protecting the one individual that had been bitten, and they chased the shark off eventually.
With a varied diet that includes fish, turtles, dogs, and rats, the bull shark moves on to an easier catch in this estuary.
Much of the time, it will feed on small, medium, or even relatively large fish, which you can just grip, kill, and swallow. But when this encounters much larger prey, other sharks, large fish, stingrays, it has the teeth that allow it to grab on hold of this prey, kill it, often by shaking its head, to slice up that prey to eat. So the bull shark is essentially able to feed on almost anything and inhabit almost any environment. It's almost unique in its adaptability.
The bull shark, along with the great white and the tiger, are responsible for many of the globally reported attacks, especially in hotspots like South Africa and Australia. However, the state of Florida in the U.S. holds the highest record. Nearly a quarter of unprovoked shark attacks anywhere in the world happen right here.
The name Shark Attack Capital of the World for Florida is earned, unfortunately, because they do have more shark attacks there than any place else on the planet. You're going to find tiger sharks, bull sharks, and great white.
Most of Florida's bites are attributed to a group of sharks called requiem, which includes the blacktip, spinner, and sandbar. Due to similarities in size, appearance, and tooth shape, it's hard to determine exactly which species is most responsible.
When we look at shark attack statistics, there's really two reasons why a location will have increased bites. So in Florida, we have lots of humans in the water because the water's warm, it's good for water sport activities, swimming, surfing, diving, things like that. We also have reasonably high numbers of shark populations as well. So I think that sort of combination of lots of humans, a lot of sharks, means that undoubtedly you're going to have an increase in negative interaction and bites.
Florida's epicenter for unprovoked shark bites is New Smyrna Beach, where the river meets the sea, bringing in vast amounts of fish straight into the jaws of the waiting sharks. It's also where millions of tourists like to swim, and locals love to spearfish.
Any activity like spearfishing, where you're going to be putting out blood from fish, then you're going to increase the chance that a shark's going to come in, and that shark's going to be in a hunting mode because it's detecting potential prey. So that obviously increases the chance that you're going to get bitten. You are essentially catching their potential prey for them, and that can change the dynamic.
When you go spearfishing in the ocean, you're really setting yourself up for an encounter with the shark. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time.
There are more than 50 species on the east coast of America, including the Caribbean reef shark. 9 feet long, weighing around 150 pounds, its main diet is octopus, bony fish, and other reef-dwelling animals. The Caribbean reef shark has specially adapted hearing that detects low-frequency sounds, allowing it to seek out and hunt injured prey from a distance. Exactly the type of sound a fish gives off when caught by a spearfisher.
I spend a lot of time spearfishing, free diving, in the water, going on trips, taking the boat out all day long, trying to get what we can get and just have a good time doing it. We decided we'll have a nice leisurely day on the boat, we'll go to the sandbar, it'll be a fun day. We had a couple of our friends with us, and then my buddy and I who dive routinely. So we pulled up to the spot just out on the reef line called Middle Sambos, which is notoriously bad for sharks. We hopped in the water. About 5 minutes, we'd spotted a decent-sized black grouper. And within about 7 minutes, My buddy had shot the fish and he went down, pulled it up. We regrouped at the surface. On our way back to the boat, I'm dragging his fish and we're just heading straight for the boat. And all of a sudden I heard him yell. So I looked over my shoulder real quick. And I saw this decent size, about 8-foot Caribbean reef shark, and it was not happy. I just kind of put my fins up to kind of keep it away from me. It pushed through my fins and I put my knees up to my chest and hoped that it wouldn't get any vitals. And I just started swinging at it to try to poke it away. You know, after the bubbles cleared, a couple seconds later, I had felt a little tug on my leg. That was it, that's all I felt. And I looked down and I saw what was now a hole in my left shin. My first thought was, okay, that looks really bad. That's pretty deep, that's pretty bad. I can see bone. I had now gotten in a fight with a shark, lost a piece of my leg. My gun is nowhere to be seen.
Justin, get my gun! Get my gun, I have a chunk out of my leg.
He swims down, grabs it. As soon as he surfaces, that shark came right back up at him and tried to bite my buddy. He shoved my gun that he had just grabbed into the shark's mouth, and the shark took off and barreled to the bottom. It went from, you know, about 7-8 feet deep to 60 feet deep in a half a second.
Can we get it or no? He grabbed my hand!
So I'm just like, all right, now it's time to go. Let's both go. So we both kind of start swimming back to the boat. I kind of lose feeling in my left leg and I can no longer kick. So my right leg takes over and I'm pushing and pushing and pushing. And before long, my right leg gave up. So I kind of asked him for help.
Help me, no. Dude.
As Parker is now bleeding in the water, he is in danger of triggering the hunt response, not just of the reef shark, but of any other sharks in the area.
I was hoping that it would stay away, but thinking it could still show up at any time.
You guys good? No. Sharks. Sharks? Bad. Okay, somebody help me out. Okay, it's good, I got it.
The seriousness of the wound soon becomes apparent.
What do you know about that?
Ended up getting up and it was starting to bleed and pretty severely. So we cleaned it up and got a nice tight wrap on it and decided to make for the hospital.
6 miles from Boca Chica, at the southernmost tip of Florida, they head back to land to get emergency medical support.
Took about 3.5 hours to sew up. It had severed my anterior tibial artery. I lost about 4.5 pints of blood and had me on IV, 56 sutures, 4 laterals.
He had speared a fish, which you can see attached to his belt, and the shark came in for the fish. And he was defending his catch, and in doing so, it agitated the shark even more and bit the only thing that was available, his leg.
We are very soft, squishy animals, where sharks have a relatively thick protective skin. It's common for them to nibble on each other. Their teeth do a lot more to us than they do to them. So did it intend to bite me? Yeah, sure. Was it trying to eat me? I think it was more a display of, force.
There are more than 30 shark species that can be found in the waters around Florida. Just like the hot spots of Australia and South Africa, the tenacious bull shark is often involved in shark attacks in Florida's waters. After locating their prey, they charge head-on with speeds over 11 miles per hour. When they reach their target, they headbutt and bite until their prey is too exhausted to escape.
Attacks by bull sharks generally are very swift. It's not like a shark coming in and circling you and looking you over and then, oh, okay, I'll go try a bite. No, this is just straight in, hit you, grab you. It thinks you're food.
If the shark's already made its mind up to biting you because it mistakes you for prey, it's probably too late.
Being in the hunting ground of a bull shark can have devastating consequences, as student Kevin Blanco discovered.
I'm calling him.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi. Shark attack outside of Marathon. We need an air rescue, please. It's really bad.
Okay, where exactly are you?
We're right here where I am. Come on.
It was a beautiful day, sunny, weather was great. It had been going great.
In the spring of 2023, Kevin was on a spearfishing trip with friends in the Florida Keys. It's a high-risk sport, free diving in deep water on just a single breath.
We're at this new spot, not seeing much. My buddy's like, oh, let's go back to the boat. And I was like, I'm gonna do one more dive. A big cubera just comes out of nowhere, and this is a fish that any spear fisherman is dying to shoot. It's a very hard, unique fish to shoot, and I take a good shot. He swims out and gets stuck in the rocks.
Reefs are a prime hunting ground for sharks. When spearfishing, retrieving the fish can be the most dangerous part of the dive.
We had 3 people that day, so I was able to get Danny to go down with me. You also don't know where the fish is on the bottom, so we follow the white line to see where the fish is. Retrieving a fish from the rocks is a very difficult thing to do. I get on the rocks. I've already been down there for about 45 seconds to a minute, so I go to take care of the fish. I have a knife in my hand. I kill the fish, and right before I push off the rocks to get myself to go back up, a 9-foot bull shark bit me on my left leg. It was huge. The speed, the power, it's like getting run over.
When you spear a fish, it struggles. When it struggles, those vibrations go through the water, and they're picked up by the shark. The shark now comes in to get the fish, you get in the way, you get bitten.
The shark bites Kevin twice, then releases him.
This thing is 400 pounds, it's girthy.
70 feet under the surface, Kevin is badly injured and still holding his breath.
I was just get to the surface. Obviously, the bleeding is a bad thing, but I need to breathe. My buddy Danny and Chris grabbed me by the armpit and kind of like shoot me up. Without those 2 there, I don't even know what would have happened. When we get to the surface, I'm gasping for air. I have no air left. I'm in shock. I'm bleeding profusely.
His friends pull him onto the boat and immediately dial 911.
911, what's the address of your emergency?
Hi. Shark attack outside of Marathon. We need an air rescue, please. It's really bad.
Okay.
He's bleeding really bad.
Okay, give me 1 second, sir. I'm gonna dispatch the ambulance.
The helicopter, please. We need an airlift, please.
My adrenaline was through the roof. I had a vein on my left leg squirting over the engines into the water like a sprinkler. It was insane. So I took off my weight belt, tied it across my leg, and pulled as hard as I could until I saw that sprinkler start going down and less blood.
Where's he bleeding from?
He's bleeding from his side. It's a really big
From
gap.
his side. I need you to apply direct pressure to the wound.
And I'm just holding my tourniquet. One kid's driving and the other one's there sitting with me. I'm like kind of leaning on him. He's just making sure that I'm there. Hey, Kevin, wake up, wake up, wake up. He doesn't want me to go unconscious.
Emergency services are ready and waiting for them when they get to shore. A police body cam captures the terrifying aftermath.
I see the sirens and I hear them. And the second, I guess, I heard proper safety, all my shock went away.
Mr. Blanco. Yeah, ready, Chris? I'm friends with your father. I just spoke to him. He's on his way to meet you, okay?
Kevin's dad, Omar, works for the local fire and rescue service.
I had 5 missed calls, which I'll never forget. It was very unique. I called back. I could hear one of my son's friends screaming, Omar, Kevin got bit. Kevin got bit by a shark. So I just said, take care of my son. And I hung up the phone.
It's a big bite.
Okay.
He's doing good.
Inside, I was dying. But I knew if he had any chance that I couldn't let that side of me take over or even come up for air.
All right, he's gonna meet you at the hospital.
There's your water right there, right?
Kevin is rapidly airlifted to a hospital in Miami. Upon arrival, he's immediately sent for life-saving surgery.
I have never felt more vulnerable in my life than this experience.
Kevin's surgery is successful. Applying a makeshift tourniquet immediately after the attack helped save his life.
Just 3 weeks before, I was explaining to my son our bleed control protocol and how a tourniquet could save a life. And in this case, my son applying a dive belt to his leg right after the bite, I believe saved his life.
So this is the top side of the jaw. The shark came in like this, and this is his bottom jaw, all the way up here. I look at the scar every day. I mean, it doesn't go away. And I see it as just being super grateful that I'm even here to share the story, show people, able to walk perfectly fine.
Bull sharks have a behavior that's unlike most other sharks. I liken it to they have a personal space issue. If you approach a bull shark, whether you're on a boat or whether you're swimming, they go into this exaggerated agonistic display. It's a warning, back off. And if you don't back off, they'll attack.
Finding a safe way for humans and sharks to coexist has been a battle for thousands of years. Even modern-day specialized Coast Guard spotters and shark nets in global hotspots haven't stopped the attacks. In Florida, where thousands of huge predator sharks pass along the coastline every year, a team of scientists are searching for new ways to reduce negative shark encounters.
I'd always wanted to study sharks from about 5 years old. So as soon as I did my undergraduate in the UK in Southampton, and as soon as that was done, I was like, I wanted to kind of move to the US to go to graduate school.
Spring break, Daytona Beach. One of the biggest tourist calendar dates of the year. As the early summer days heat up, thousands head to the beach. Research shows that in the winter months, sharks swim south, further away from the shore. But from April to October, they come in close, swimming along the coastline and directly into the paths of millions of tourists along Florida's beaches.
What we're doing specifically here right now is studying this bull shark population. Part of that is understanding their movements. So the more we can understand how they use these sites and when, the better we can try to sort of inform the public of ways to try to reduce interacting with these sharks.
To advance their understanding of predatory behavior in waters so close to the beaches, Giannis and his team need to seek out and find what most of us are desperate to avoid, a shiver of large bull sharks. The team have a safety briefing before they enter the water. Each of them puts their lives on the line when they monitor sharks feeding this close to the beaches.
So say if a shark's swimming towards you, you set eye contact with them. There's a chance they're going to turn away from you. Ideally, we would like as little movement as possible, so arms in when we're in the water, no bobbing up and down, have nice buoyancy.
So we're actually quite close to the edge of the reef. Depth is going to be about 30 meters, getting out to 40 meters, and it drops down into deeper water. So what we're going to do now is going to get some bait in the water with a float, drop that in.
Frozen tuna is chopped up and placed inside a bait box. As sharks are triggered by the smell of blood, it allows the scent to disperse in the water for a prolonged period of time without the fish itself being eaten.
All right, you guys, how we feeling?
Feeling good?
Good? Ready to rock? Okay. All right, step on down.
The bait fish have done their job. As soon as the team enters the water, they are approached by two large bull sharks. Only a couple of miles off the busy tourist beach, this is what Giannis and his team are here to report on. What sharks are here, and what threat do they pose to the human population swimming nearby?
What does separate them from other reef sharks is that they tend to be considerably larger than other coastal animals, which means they potentially are going to be bolder and also maybe more likely to bite a human. We had pretty quickly bull sharks coming up, and then 10 minutes later, the sandbar sharks started to turn up.
Sandbars are named due to their preference for sandy, shallow waters. Despite growing up to 8 feet long, they are often eaten by larger tiger or even great white sharks. This means they will often keep hidden until the coast is clear.
The bulls are obviously considerably larger, and you really don't get the sandbars coming in to feed until the bulls have had their fill.
Bulls have been known to hunt juvenile sandbars, but it's a different predator that may have spooked the smaller sharks.
We actually had a great hammerhead come through, and it just kind of did a relatively quick drive-by. Great hammerheads, they really like to eat other sharks, so they're actually kind of shark killers. So the bull sharks don't care, but the sandbar sharks might be a little bit nervous. 3 different species, multiple individuals of bulls and sandbars, and they were coming in really close as well.
With this dive, Giannis and his team have uncovered a vibrant hierarchy of large sharks feeding just miles from shore, allowing them to map out the potential danger areas, the health of the species, and to piece together the building blocks of how one day we can safely live together with this ancient predator. They've been on Earth for over 400 million years. Over 500 species live across our planet in oceans, seas, and rivers. By studying the locations and circumstances of these shark encounters with humans, we can better understand how to minimize negative interactions.
I didn't know there was a pool of sharks really close to the beach.
Shark populations are declining, which makes finding ways to share the seas more critical than ever.
We are in their territory, and they are the best predator in the world.
Our survival on land is interlinked with theirs in the sea.
People need to understand, if it wasn't for sharks, the ecosystem of the ocean would be a real mess. Probably wouldn't even be existent. We might not even be here.